So I'm going to talk about when we experience unexpected changes or unexpected events that happen in our lives and 3 ways to respond to such situations. Now I just want to say that I am in no way saying that this is the blueprint or the way to handling or responding to certain situations. It's more so what I've been learning as I've been journeying through life and just want to encourage someone else. So in this life we live in, we are bound to encounter situations and events and changes that happens, and depending on how we respond to them can make us or break us. And there are some things that are sent our way to discourage us, to throw us off track, to harm us, to bring fear in us, to have us doubt God, to have us doubt ourselves, such as, loss, heartbreak, failure, rejection, termination, being laid off a job, just anything that's meant to bring us down. We have to find the strength from within to cling to God and to really respond in a way that will not make matters worse than what it already is. And one way I would say is we have to take heed to what's going on. We have to, gather our thoughts and really question, what's really going on? Why is this really happening? And maybe God, he sees that you're either moving too fast with something and he wants to, slow you down, put a halt to your plans, to bring your attention to something that's more important. Maybe you need to ask yourself, what role did you play in the situation? You have to, were there warning signs or little things adding up to what happened that you were ignoring maybe? Were you giving too much attention to something when you were neglecting an assignment or a task that God had you or needed you to be focusing in that season? Maybe it was bigger than all of that, and maybe it was like a demonic attack on you, spiritual war coming upon you that was planned, and God needed you to really get focused and get back into your word and to be filled back up with the armor of God, so that way when that attack did come, you will be more prepared and more aware of what's really going on. I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and I'm also a firm believer that every experience is a learning experience, and that what we go through, it's to make us stronger and it's to prepare us for the next level that God has us going to. So that's why I think taking heed to what's really going on can really give you a clear perspective. So thinking before acting and asking before assuming can really change your perspective on what's going on. The second thing I will say, do not respond with a fistful of emotions. In correlation, do not be led by your feelings. I repeat, do not be led by your feelings. A fool, he vents out everything that he's feeling. He acts out on how he's feeling. He just pours it all out. But a wise man, he holds it in. A wise man knows there's a time and a place for everything, and sometimes you have to be silent, or sometimes you have to just step back, take yourself out of the situation for a second to really get a clear mind and a clear thought process of what's really going on. And I'm quoting that from Proverbs 29:11. And for women, it can be very hard to have control of our emotions because we're just very emotional creatures. And I will admit that we tend to exaggerate when we are PMSing at that time. And don't get me wrong, it is like the worst thing ever, but I will say that we do exaggerate it a little bit. And it's hard because when you're hit with a situation, the first thing is you act on how you feel. The first thing is you're responding because how you feel. You feel hurt, you feel confused, you feel lost, you feel rejected, you feel disrespected. So it's like, how can I feel better from this situation? Why does this situation make me feel this way? Why did this person make me feel this way? And then when you start thinking of how you're feeling and you're going by how you're feeling, you put your feelings before facts, your emotions before a sound mind, and then your judgment, your perspective is clouded, and then you get this whole me and selfish mindset, which isn't good at all. So you have to, find a way to control your emotions. And one way for me is taking a breather. Take a breather and pray. pray about it. Prayer definitely changes everything. And I know that praying is usually the least thing on a person's mind when they're going through something or when they're unexpectedly hit with something, but prayer changes the atmosphere. It shifts the atmosphere. It shifts the perspective. It opens the door for God to really come in and really to change your thoughts and to bring his peace back into you and to just show you that he's still there. And it changes your perspective, and then you realize that, you know, God is still great. God is still good. So in spite of what's going on right now, I know while I'm clinging to God, everything's going to be okay. Your feelings will magnify your problems, and your prayers will magnify God. Your feelings will have you playing the victim, and your prayers will remind you that in spite of what's going on, that you have the victory because you serve a God who can turn it all around for you. And that brings me to the third thing, is searching for the positives in everything. And you have to face what you're going through with an optimistic mindset that everything is going to be okay and that this is for a reason and God's going to work it out for my good. You have to look at it as another chance to place your security back in God, because if you was fully trusting God, if your faith was fully into God and you had your security fully into God, then what you lost, what's going on right now, it wouldn't faze you as much as it is. Because if you lost a job, but your security and your faith is in God, you will know that, okay, because I lost this job, I serve a God who's going to provide for me. And I know that he's going to provide for me when I need it. And maybe it's not my time to be at this job right now. Maybe there's another job out there for me. Maybe God wants me to step away because there's something that I'm not paying attention to right now, and God needs my attention on that thing. If you look at it with a positive mindset and with an optimistic mindset, you will find hope in the situation. You can look at a situation as an opportunity to reevaluate your choices, your plans, and what you're doing in life, and just, you know, start all over again. You have to slow down, take your time, and remember at the end of the day that you're still alive, which means God's not finished with you yet. It's not over yet. It's not the end of the world. You still have a chance at something better. You still have another opportunity. You just have to trust God. So these are different responding ways that have helped me throughout life, and it's still a learning experience. With each different type of response that I talked about in this video, they all led me back to God and led me back to knowing that at the end of the day, God is still good and God still has a plan for me. And no matter what comes my way, no matter what, you know, unexpected change or event that happens in my life, I'm going to be okay. And that's really all that matters. So I hope this video helps you some way, somehow. And until next time, God bless.